Beautiful family, it's Coach Velia, and I'm having fun with all these little filters. Why I didn't know they existed before, I have no idea. Hi, it is day 9 of the Decluttering series, and it's late tonight. I just got back from an amazing meeting, and then we also had our cacao ceremony tonight. So I had the privilege of helping once again bring in the quantum experience for all these amazing people just looking for their path, looking for their way to get to where their purpose, their higher purpose is. And so today I want to talk about organizing yourself and really focusing on the things that you want in your life. So type of a manifestation, like sometimes we're cluttered with doubt, with fear, with what ifs, and also cluttered with past experiences. So it makes it a little more difficult for us to really focus on the things that we want to actually manifest in our life. Like, what reality do you really want? And this is kind of a confusing topic for a lot of people because we're so focused on what the things that we think we don't deserve, and we don't really make time or our actually desires a priority. And it's so common for us to not really know what it is that we want in our lives because we're so cluttered up with the challenges and the traumas and things of that nature. So we just had the full moon with its amazing energies. We are still feeling the effects of that full moon energy. So typically it's 3 days before and 3 days after, and that's kind of when the energy starts circulating more and more. So I was hoping that tonight you guys can take some time to start decluttering the fears that you may have, limiting beliefs. So like we all have them. We all have limiting beliefs. What happens is you get really good at healing the reasons why you feel limitations. But every time you elevate to a new version of you, or you have a new set of challenges that come in, or a new stage for you to step into, there's an additional layer of limitations as well as fears, right? So it feels like sometimes you can't see past them until you actually go through them and make yourself go through these challenges. And then the other side appears, like, oh my gosh, I never thought I was going to be able to do it, but I stayed focused and I was able to do it. So this is something very similar. And even though you might not have all the steps to getting to where you want to go, I want you guys to spend some time really focusing on those things. So I don't want you to write down the things that are cluttering you up. I just want you to kind of push through and envision yourself receiving the things that you already want in your life, right? So how many times did you have a wish and a desire and you focus on it so much that it actually came true? It actually happens all the time. But when we have a wish or a desire and we're constantly focusing on how we wouldn't get it because of XYZ and the money and the help and the support or whatever, we literally confuse the energy. So if you start focusing on the things that you want, and it could be something super simple, you guys, like how you want to decorate your house, like how you want to organize, I don't know, a friend or help in another room or whatever the case may be. Start focusing on envisioning what it looks like and what you do want to create, and the energy kind of just conspires to work in your favor instead of you confusing it and it's saying what do you want? What do you want? Okay, you say you want this, but you're doing that. You say you want to create abundance, but you're living in lack. So the energy is kind of I don't understand what you want. So our job is to be so clear in our intentions, is to be so clear on what we actually want to manifest that we don't confuse the energy, right? I am going to be starting a series on manifestation in January, along with my new podcast. So I want to teach you guys more and more about the actual formula when it comes to manifesting the things that you actually want to create in your life. But this was coming in pretty strongly for everybody today is literally starting to declutter the negativity that you've experienced. Declutter the limitations you've placed on yourself once again. And how do you declutter that? By really focusing on what you guys want. And I'm not saying you're not going to have doubt and you're not going to have a hard time really focusing on it. But I think that just like everything else, when we have all these things to do and everything else kind of takes, priority, it's our job to bring it back into center. So this is kind of what I'm feeling for you guys that are watching and are really striving to get yourself organized. It's stop allowing the cluttered thoughts that really are not going to take you anywhere, but backwards probably, to be front and center in your life. Say, thank you so much for letting me know. That's chaos. I get it. You're trying to do it, but let me show you what I really want. And I teach, a lot of visualization. So what I do is I ask people that even to kind of envision the life they want for themselves. And right now you can do something as simple as closing your eyes and taking a deep breath. And if it's a new job you want, if it's a new car you want, if it's a new house you want, if it's a new relationship you want, I'm going to ask you to close your eyes and start visualizing what that looks like, right? So like say you want a new car. Well, you're going to start off by being grateful for the mode of transportation you have right now. That's always front and center. Because from a place of gratitude, we can actually fertilize that soil and plant new seeds. But if we are not grateful for our current situation, because even though we don't want to believe it, it has taught us a whole lot. It's very difficult to get to the new platform. So we're going to close our eyes and we're going to just envision, for this particular case, that new vehicle that you may want. So we're going to close our eyes and you can envision the current vehicle you have now and say, okay, it's transporting me, it's taking care of me, it's caused me some problems, but you know what? I'm going to go ahead and move from that area and think it. And now I'm going to envision the actual car that I do want. And I want you to sit in that vehicle that you want, inside or on it, whatever you prefer. And there I want you to actually see the color of this vehicle. I want you to smell what this vehicle smells like. And as you're envisioning yourself, behind the wheel, where you're going to go, what you're going to do, and how you're going to feel, I want you to literally give yourself the feelings and emotion that come with you having already received this particular vehicle. Once you have that, you take a deep breath, you release it to the universe, to God, to Source, and now you're letting it know what you really want. Because here's what I understand. Everything we think and we feel, God, universe, Source, literally believes it's your heart's desire, whether it's a positive thing or something that you're fearful of. Because all you're giving it is a picture and an emotion. It cannot decipher whether it's something positive or negative. It just shows that you have interest in it. So it actually comes back and tries to give you and match that energy. So if we're constantly complaining or scattered or living in scarcity or in fear, you just get more of that, because like energy attracts like energy. So this is why it's so important for us to really declutter the negativity that we're experiencing. I'm not saying that everybody has had a perfect life, but if you don't want more of the same thing, you have to change your thoughts. And once you change your thoughts, the emotions start changing. You'll find that you're going to be attracting more of the things you actually want. So decluttering your thoughts, you guys, is super, super important. Focus on the things that you want. Like we just used a vehicle, right? But if you want a better relationship, or if you want to manifest that perfect person, whether when I say relationship, it could be a romantic relationship or friendships. Like stop and close your eyes and give it a picture of what that looks like. Oh my gosh, having like this awesome friend, and I'm having coffee with this person, or I'm having, great time. I have a study buddy for school. And you just close your eyes and literally, you guys, paint a picture of what that looks like. And always attach the emotions that you want to feel, that you're going to feel once you received it. And then you just let it go. So if we want something so bad, we're holding on to it. We're holding on to it so tightly. The energy wants to come and serve it, but your hands are pretty much full. So there's no place to actually receive it. So decluttering, even though it seems so simple, I promise you that it is. You just have to learn to think differently and actually create a new way of being. So yes, I understand that initially when we receive a thought process or a thought in general, that we have no control over the initial thought. But we do have control over how long it stays there. So I tell people it's kind of like watching TV, right? Something's on TV, comes on. Turn on the TV and who knows who watched it prior to you. But something comes on, and like something that you don't like comes on TV. So you have the remote control. So initially you had no control over what popped up, but now you have this remote control and you can always change the channel. Our thoughts are the same way. So if you bring in a channel, a thought, and it's something negative, well, okay, initially it just kind of happened. But if you entertain it, like giving it a little hot chocolate and a blanket, it's going to stay hanging out with you because why not? You made it comfortable. But if something comes in and you don't like what it is, you need to change it into something that you do want. And that's the process of manifestation. So what happens is you start learning how to think differently. And this is actually a process your brain goes through. You have to like get rid of old programming to create new ones, and it's all habits. Like today there was a question like, what do you think a habit is? Or how can somebody break a habit? And there's books out there like 21 Days Creates a New Habit. But if you have a subconscious program, for example, that tells you you're never going to have anything, and you can say affirmations that I'm rich, I'm abundant, I'm wealthy, or whatever. But if your subconscious mind doesn't believe it, you can say it to your blue in the face and nothing's ever going to change. So your goal is to find out, why do I have these habits? And why do I keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results? Let me tell you that habits are literally trauma responses. We are all pre-wired to live on survival mode. So when you start tapping into it, because actually in your brain there's these neurons, right? Like if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, like there's a connection in your brain. It's kind of like always making the same choice and having this one path, right? It's a neural pathway. Okay, well, I always get up and I brush my teeth. I always get up on the right side of the bed and I brush my teeth with my right hand, and then I drink my coffee with my right hand. So I do a really simple technique that I've learned from many mentors is to like swap things up. So I'll have my clients like sleep on opposite sides of the bed. And they're like, why do you do that? And I'm like, because it breaks you out of autopilot. So also, if you're right-handed, I'm like, brush your teeth with your left hand. If you drive to work in this particular route, I want you to go this particular route. And they're like, why? Because we're breaking the actual autopilot that you've been operating off of. And the only way to do that is to interrupt old programming, interrupt, negative thoughts or go-to thoughts all the time. And now you're more in control. It's very simple. It's kind of like, a lot of us drive somewhere and then we get there. We're like, how the heck did we get there? It's because your subconscious is basically running off of a program. So thoughts are the same way. So if you think you're just a negative person, that's not true. The fact of the matter is that you've always had cluttered thoughts that are negative, but you can actually take charge and swap it when you start learning how to declutter your brain and choosing what you do want to think about instead of just allowing whatever come in and then you never changing the channel. I hope that makes sense to you guys. It's so simple and we can totally overcomplicate it. But I will be sharing about the brain, how it works, how it just registers old information and keeps repeating the same thing over and over again. And I've touched on it, but I do want you to know that it's not your fault. It's not your fault that you're stuck in this kind of loop. And sometimes, it's very easy to be like, why do I expect something different? I don't know. But because the brain's recycling old information, it's our job to go in there, interrupt that information, create new information so we can learn to build off of it. And then we can create those habits, right? But it's impossible to bring in new things with old thought processes. So what do we do first? We have to unlearn a way of being so we can relearn a way of being that actually benefits us. Sound good? All right. I hope that helped a little bit. Take care of those thoughts. Bring your little remote control. If you don't like it, swap it. You are definitely free to make your choices, and they all start by thoughts. Have an amazing night. We'll talk to you guys soon. And happy, what day is it today? Oh, it's Saturday. Happy Saturday, guys. Love you guys. See you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.